Hello YouTube, this is the Bucket coming at you today with my Erma Navy Luger. This is sometimes referred to as an ET22, although if you look on my frame, it actually still has the LA22. The LA22 is the original version of the Erma Works Luger pistol. Erma Works is a famous company. They have a lot of heritage of producing firearms. They're kind of known for being able to make conversions and to make 22 pistols. They first came out with the LA22. I've done a video on it. You can go ahead and check that out in the description over here. So I'm not going to go into all of the history of it, but they decided that in 1967 and 1969, they were going to produce a longer barrel version, this 11.75 inch barreled version, and they called it a Navy Luger. I don't know why. This really kind of looks more like an artillery Luger with a handguard. Kind of looks like the carbine Lugers that they did make. And this is actually fairly functional because on a regular Luger, you're going to actually have the barrel that reciprocates to keep the gun in lockup while the 9mm round goes down the barrel. Those carbines that they made had some reliability issues because you were holding this in place and that was going to affect the actual action of the gun. Since this is a blowback version, a blowback gun, the foregrip is not going to be a problem at all. And actually, when you hold it two-handed, it actually doesn't go too crazy for you trying to line that up. Now, that being said, you'll see that there is a tangent middle sight, and then there's a ramped front sight, but you can see that they left the rear sight on there. Only problem with mine, at least, is these three sights don't line up. So I just went ahead and lined up the tangent sight and the front sight, and I got fairly good accuracy. Actually, the target today is from my buddy Tanfolio. He did really, really well with it, so we went ahead and saved his target. We had one little flyer here, and then had a fairly decent group. You know, considering that the sights don't actually line up, all three of them, and it's kind of a unique, different type of gun to get used to shooting, that's really pretty good accuracy. I was pretty happy with it. As far as reliability goes, the gun had a tendency to, well, it had a few failures. It had some failure getting into battery a couple of different times. I found that if I used the 8-round magazine and I only put in 5 rounds, I actually got fairly good reliability with it. I will tell you, it did not like this Arms Corps ammo, but the tried and true CCI mini mags worked like a charm, and the gun started running fairly reliably. I had put a little bit of oil on this zamack gun. Again, this is going to be an all zamack frame with a zamack barrel, and then it just has a steel insert in the center of the barrel. Let's go ahead and talk about the specs a little bit. The specs of this big old boy is going to be 16 inches in length. The barrel length is going to be 11.75 inches. The overall width is going to be 1.4 inches. The overall height is going to be 5.5 inches. And the weight on this is going to be 43 ounces. If you're wanting to get into a fun gun to go to the range with at a low cost, this is a pretty neat little option. You're just going to have to deal with a few failures, and you're going to have to deal with some of that throughout your range trip, but that's not completely uncommon with all 22 auto loaders. So I'd say it's a little bit less reliable than a new production gun, but it was still a whole bunch of fun, and the ergonomics of it was a lot of fun. I never really could figure out how to put my arm on the grip here, the foregrip here, and find a way to shoot it. I just kind of shot it two-handed and just enjoyed that. But Oscar and Tanfolio just kept coming back to this gun over and over and over again today and had a lot of fun. So if you can get into this gun at a good price, you know, the regular LA with the 4.5-inch barrels, I see those guns going for around $300 all the time. These run at kind of a premium. I've seen them actually sell for some crazy money on Gunbroker, but I think that $500 mark is really kind of where these guns are at right now. And if you're thinking that this would be a fun gun to take to the range and kind of something a little bit different, you're going to enjoy it. I think you're going to have a blast with it. So I do want to thank you so much for supporting the channel. All the likes, the comments, and shares are really appreciated. And as always, you stay classy, YouTube. Little baby Bucket, do you want to live in California?
No.
Why?
Because I'm not a compliment.